It's the PunchTV Holiday Spectacular featuring the host, the collector, the movie geek, tweet beat reporter, the director, best boy, camera empress, pregnant producer, sound guy, with special guests Marlon Brando, Steve Hogle and the Saskatoon Blades, Jeff McDonald and his board games, Jason Wall and the Eaton's Christmas display, a Star Wars Christmas story, uncooperative children, and much more. And now, here's your host, Jody Kaysen.
Welcome to our very first PunchTV Holiday Spectacular. In case you were wondering what the heck you were just watching, we opened the show with our tribute to the Star Wars Holiday Special, which aired back in the 70s when we were all kids. It was the first appearance of Boba Fett, by the way, and it is available on YouTube should you get the hankering to see the original. But on with our show. Today's hour-long episode is jam-packed full of cheer. In addition to the usual features with Craig, Hank, and Tony, we have a bunch of special guests to help us celebrate the happiest time of the year. I'm going to bask in the glow of this beautiful tree while you watch our first guests reveal their deepest holiday wishes.
Large size skateboard and a small size Samsung TV. I don't know.
Come on, you got all dressed up like a princess. Well, Cinderella told me she wanted some new slippers. Yeah, and Belle wanted a new rose.
Hi, Santa. Yep. Yep. A dolly. No, it's a castle. It's a castle. No. Because he bited me 3 times.
For Christmas, I want Santa to bring my dad a brand new car.
How about an Elsa doll?
He was a fire truck. At the North Pole. No, I don't live at the North Pole. Yeah, he does. That's where all his elves live, and he makes his presents. Oh. And I live in my house. At the store, where you and I go, there is a weird Santa that talks. I was a little scared of him.
I would really, really like a garage for Christmas. I would settle for like a really decent windshield scraper.
Easy thing.
There you go. Okay, come on. And now, PunchTV is proud to present Paper Bag Theater.
"'Twas the night before Christmas, when as per my wishes, not a creature was stirring, they slept with the fishes. I was stuck at a ward of the hospital's care, in hopes that young Michael would soon be there. I was a patient nestled snug in my bed, while both cops and gangsters wanted me dead. The rival fight families had aimed for my cap, to spatter my brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, with nothing to lose, I planned to make an offer he couldn't refuse. The moon, on the breast of new fallen snow, gave the luster of midday to objects below. And then I realized, like I was shot with a diamond bullet right through my forehead. And I thought, my God, the genius of that, the will to do that, perfect, genuine, complete, crystalline, pure. When, what to my wondering eyes should appear, but a miniature streetcar and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver, so lively and quick. In a moment, I knew it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. He whistled and shouted and called her by name. Stella! His eyes shone like krypton. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn like an S, the symbol for hope on Superman's chest. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth. The smoke, it had circled his head like a wave. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a white jolly old elf. I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a snap of the splendor. He showed he had class. He could have been a contender. He spoke not a word and went straight to his work and filled all the stockings and then turned with a jerk, laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod of the chimney he rose. He sprung to his sleigh, and to the team he gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But then I heard him exclaim, here he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And could somebody get me a cheeseburger?
Welcome back. In 1983, a film called A Christmas Story was released, and it became an instant holiday classic. Everyone loves the story of Ralphie and his mission to get a coveted BB gun for Christmas. In that tradition, PunchTV is proud to present our retelling of that tale, Star Wars style.
So there it was, the dual-phase high-output titanium-powered lightsaber with solid casing, rigid hand grip, forward-mounted adjustment knobs, and beveled emitter shroud with a throttle-style activator. And there he was, Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. In his hand was the coolest, deadliest weaponry I'd ever laid eyes on. For weeks, I'd been scheming to get my hands on one of these blue-lighted beauties. I struggled for the right lightsaber in with my dad. It had to be firm, but subtle.
Big saw some sand people over at Toshi Station.
He looked at me like I had a Minox stuck to my head. I could tell I was in infinite danger of overplaying my hand. Casually, I switched tactics.
Hey, Dad, I bet you'll never guess what I want for Christmas.
A working Death Star? Ha 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 ha. What do you want for Christmas? Luke!
A dual-phase, high-output, titanium-powered lightsaber with solid casing, ridged hand grip, forward-mounting adjustment knobs, and beveled emitter shroud with a throttle-style activator.
No! You'll cut your hand off.
It was the classic father lightsaber block. You'll cut your hand off. That deadly phrase uttered by many a father across the galaxy.
Yoda! Jedi Master! My father won't let me have a dual-phase, high-output, titanium-powered lightsaber with solid casing, ridged hand grip, forward-mounted adjustment knobs, and beveled emitter shroud with a throttle-style activator.
Cut your hand off, you will.
My father must have gotten to Yoda too. There could be no other explanation. Was there no end to this irrational conspiracy against lightsabers?
What do you want for Christmas, little boy? How about a nice football?
A dual-phase, high-output, titanium-powered lightsaber with solid casing, ridged hand grip, forward-mounting adjustment knobs, and beveled emitter shroud with a throttle-style activator.
You'll cut your hand off, kid. Ho, ho, ho.
Christmas had come officially.
I had one. The Force is strong in you. You should have one too. Be careful.
All right, Palpatine, now you get yours. I don't believe it. I got my own hand off.
You cut your hand off. You cut your hand off. You cut your hand off.
Luke, be careful. Don't cut your hand off, Luke.
At the Eaton's Once Upon a Christmas exhibit. I love this thing. It has such a soft spot in my heart from going when I was a kid. Back in the 80s, going to the Eaton's department store and checking it out in their like major home fashion stock room. It beats Disney's animatronics any day of the week. How old are some of these exhibits?
Well, this actually, most of the exhibit was put together in 1946. So for Eaton's store in Winnipeg. So it's been around for quite a long time.
We're gonna have a look at some more of the other exhibits here today, and hopefully you can be our guide and provide some insight for us.
It'd be my pleasure.
Awesome. Now Santa writes down good girls and boys' names so that on Christmas Eve he can bring toys and games. Do you think Santa's still using paper, or has he gone digital?
Well, I don't know. He has magical paper, right? So I guess one could say that he has sort of gone digital with magic. Or is it that we're trying to catch up with Santa and his magical paper? Something to think about during this Christmas season while you're enjoying eggnog and sharing the Christmas spirit with your family. If you look there, there's a rabbit in the tree. The infamous tree climbing rabbit. Very rare. You don't see them very often.
I don't think they're indigenous to this part of the country.
Definitely not indigenous to Saskatchewan. Did not know that Donner, Blitzen, and Dancer were Santa Claus's 3 favorites. What about Rudolph? Obviously, Santa does play favorites, so it does pay to be good.
I didn't know that the turtles play in the kitchen, but lo and behold, there they are.
Everybody pitches in, you know, it's a busy time, all hands on deck, let's get it done. That's the Claus motto, right? Get her done.
I love turtles, chocolates.
Yes.
But I don't think I would enjoy turtle chocolates.
Yeah, I agree. There's that whole salmonella issue too.
Putting bears to work. I think after the whole Russian circus thing, isn't that kind of like frowned upon?
And in all honesty, no actual bears were harmed in the creation of this display. It's all animatronics. It's all just representational.
Tell me about the process that the Western Development Museum has had in caring for this beloved exhibit.
It's all been pretty much volunteer driven. The guys were looking after the mechanical part, and a lot of the displays that you see throughout the display were looked after by some of our women's auxiliary, who actually stitched clothing right onto the robots to make them look as beautiful as they are.
His wife tells him, hurry, the minutes go fast. Santa pulls on his boots, and he's ready at last. See, even Santa's wife nags him a little bit.
I have no comment on that topic.
That is the right answer. Santa is teaching the reindeer, and look, there is Rudolph.
There is Rudolph, so obviously he made the cut. He's into the school. They're going over their flight plan. You know that Rudolph didn't leap to fame right away. He kind of had to earn his stripes, or nose, as it were. All of the other reindeer used to, what? Laugh and call him names.
It's a good example of someone's resolution to overcome bullying.
Bullying is a big topic nowadays, and I think Rudolph is probably one of the success stories when it comes to that whole topic of overcoming bullying, how to deal with it, keep working at it, and you too might be leading the reindeer on their Christmas night flight.
So this one always struck me as the most Disney-esque of the displays, because it's kind of got that it's a small world feel to it.
It certainly does, yeah. Small world visits a very cold climate, I guess. The Winterkins are enjoying the winter, and Ferris wheels, balloons, just everything's going on. Skating, of course, on the rink. Yeah, this is a wonderful display. It's got so much going on. It just totally enthralls and captures people's attention.
Well, it's all lacy and glittery. It's got lots of sparkles. I mean, it's awesome.
And you've got to think, too, that this is well before anything's happening at Disney World and stuff like that. So it is very ahead of its time in terms of that. Maybe
Walt took a trip to Winnipeg and happened to see them in the front window.
Who knows? Perhaps. We're working with a lot of avionics and different type of equipment that was actually salvaged from old bombers from World War II. And that's one of the challenges that we're facing. We're fortunate. So far, most of the repairs are pretty easy to do, but like I was commenting to a friend of mine, I said, yeah, if something goes south on this, we're going to have to approach a company like Disney or some electronics firm that hopefully can come up with the servos and other equipment that we need to replace it. Unfortunately, it's going to cost us a lot of money, so we do have a mailbox where people can put in donations to keep it going. But it's become such a family tradition in Saskatoon, and I'm not too worried about it. People will step up and help us fix it if necessary.
It's Christmas time for teddy bears. The little teddy bears are having a wonderful time today. Are they fighting? They are actually boxing.
They are boxing, and again, no actual bears were hurt in the creation of this display.
Those buns look really good.
Yes, we're always proud of our buns here at the Western Development Museum.
Oh, there's a being living in the cake.
Yes, father and mother are enjoying some tea and hanging out, some bread, and of course eating their favorite bird.
If I was in this scene, I would be that one that has all the tangled up yarn. I don't know how to knit.
It's gender stereotyping, but men are busy working on the lathe and the workbenches, and of course the women are working away at all the finer crafts and the sewing and the painting and stuff like that.
Well, that could be, that's not gender specific. The lathe worker could be a boy or a girl.
I suppose it could be. Yeah. Let's roll with that.
Let's go with that. I would really like to read Jean's handbook.
A lot of people read handbooks.
Yeah.
They're different than the handbook. You have a very good eye. I'm going to have to escort you away from the museum now.
There were some kids earlier who were like, that kid is strangling that cat. He's killing that cat. And it's like, no, that's Tommy Stout. Hello, he's saving the cat.
I'm not worthy. Well played.
Thank you. All right, what is Johnny getting? Oh, Donnie's getting one wagon and one book. James is getting 2 trucks, 2 cars. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Okay, no, that's a different Donnie.
Yeah.
It's not you, Donnie.
No,
it's a
Donnie.
different Donnie.
Different Donnie.
Okay, I love thinking about like members of the women's auxiliary sitting there with the lace and the tulle and the beautiful fabrics and sewing together these like amazing costumes that all of the little critters throughout are wearing. Like, I love that. It's heartwarming to me that like all these people put some effort into making something so magical. She's very cute. She only moves her arms though.
After the accident, she still likes to dress up and reminisce.
We can all dream. Well, she has some scarring on her legs. So, maybe there was a tragic accident.
Again, no comment. Just enjoy the figurine and our little Western Development Museum ballerina.
Well, I want to thank you again for the time that you've taken with us today because it is magical and it has the same charm now that it did when I was 6 years old. And every time I see it, I find something new.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. It's one of my favorite exhibits in the Western Development Museum collection, and the tradition that's evolved over it. And because we have people who have brought their children coming back who are now bringing their children, and we do get quite a few grandparents also coming back and introducing their grandchildren to the display. And the wonderment and the amazement and the look on children's faces is truly rewarding, and it helps affirm what we're doing here at the museum and how we're a part of the community and how the community is a part of us too. So yeah, very cool.
Do come down and check it out with your family and hopefully make it a part of your family's holiday tradition. The display will be up until the new year, so you've got lots of time to check it out. Come see the giraffe. You won't be sorry.
Hello, lovely ladies and or dudes. My name is Hank, and I have got a sweet holiday video game gift guide for you. And you, and you, and your kids, and your uncle, and your dad, and your sister. But then your sister wants to play with her friends online. So it's all of them, and then everybody else. But what you should do is get something to take some notes down. This is very important. It's TweetBeat. In Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on PC, PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, it's an 85 out of 100. Everyone is a specialist, so you can feel good about yourself no matter what your kill-death ratio is. Oh, and there's zombies. Oh, and if you want to be in my clan, I'm Carlos Cruz with capital C's, and our clan tag is Zaz with capital Z's and a capital A. Fallout 4 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One is the best nuke-destroyed open-world survival game ever. I've left my vault. I'm in the wasteland. Look, Mom, no hands. A super mutant brute ripped them off. 91 out of 100, and my favorite game of the year. Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U is just the cutest game. Running around popping yarn balls out of your butt is addicting fun for everyone. 78 out of 100. Assassin's Creed Syndicate on PS4 and Xbox One features two of the best protagonists in the series, restoring faith lost after Unity. London has never looked so good. 89 out of 100. Halo 5, a beautiful work of art that has Master Chief back kicking some Stop what you were doing and buy this game if you have an Xbox One, because it's only on Xbox One. And my buddy Kelso, he scores it a 98 out of 100, and I'm a little more discerning, so I give it a 90. That is it for me. My name is Hank. As always, please tweet your reviews to @HankandKelso and @ShawPunchTV. And honey, if you are watching this, please don't buy me any of the video games I mentioned because I have them all already. Don't get mad. I am so sorry I buy things around Christmas. But what you can do is buy me Star Wars Battlefront on PS4 or Xbox One, wrap it up, put it under the tree, I'll open it, take it over to Tony's house because he needs it because he spent all of his hard-earned money seeing Star Wars in the theater 17 times. He doesn't have any money left to buy himself any games. This was TweetBeat. See you next month.
So now on the Punch TV set, we've got the crew here, and we are going to talk about our favorite holiday movies. And Movie Geek, why don't you lead the moderation?
Sure, well, I think we should talk about classic, modern, and then sort of off the beaten path Christmas movies. So I'll maybe kick it off with my favorite classic Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life, which actually wasn't even originally a Christmas movie until they sort of the rights to it went into a bit of a spin, and they were able to put it on TV in the 80s ad nauseum at Christmas, and that's why we think of it as a Christmas movie. Obviously it takes place at Christmas, but classic Jimmy Stewart. Normally I'm not such a hard-on-sleeve kind of guy, but that movie just does it for me. What about you guys?
I didn't even know that. I didn't know. I thought it was a Christmas movie from the start.
It was not?
Yeah, it's really hokey, but it's one of those classics that as it comes on TV and you're like, yep, I'm now watching this. I got stuff to do, but it's on.
So
I'm plunking down and watching it.
Get
It's great.
sucked right in. So what about your favorite classic?
My favorite classic is another case where it's like if it's on TV, I have to stop and watch it, and it's the whole stop motion animation, like any of those, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Island of Misfit Toys, like the really jerky bad animation. I love that stuff. It's great. It's like super nostalgic for me.
Tony?
I agree. Jingle All the Way was one that was a Christmas movie that just kind of like hit my heart because of the whole Cabbage Patch doll thing happening where people are going crazy for toys, and you know, as a toy collector, I really enjoyed that kind of stuff. So yeah,
That's
that was
got
my
like
favorite.
the Home Improvement guy in it,
Yes,
right?
no. Jingle All the Way is the
Arnie.
Jake,
Arnold
Schwarzenegger and
yeah,
Jake
okay.
Lloyd of the Star Wars.
Mannequin Skywalker.
Yes.
Which is a terrible movie, but I can see why that's
exactly,
why you like that
so
movie.
I just watched it recently too, so maybe that's it. I just picked it up recently, so yeah.
There you go, Hank.
Classic. Classic movie would have to be, of course, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
Not the live
original,
action one,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
The original. Used to watch it every Christmas Eve with the family, and then in high school, I had the same science/biology teacher every year, Jack Pacush. And every year, right before Christmas holidays, he'd give us candy, and then we'd watch it, and then we'd have to write a test. I remember that.
Like on
Hi,
test?
Jack. Hi, Jack, if
A
you're there.
test on the movie? Like, was there like a
No,
movie test? Like,
but it's like to gear us up, and then, oh, by the way, here's a quiz.
Merry Christmas, here's a test, jerk.
Christmas. How fun.
I know, right?
Good and
Now,
bad.
modern, maybe Tony jumped the queue a little
Yeah, I
bit,
did,
but he
sorry.
marches to the beat of his own drummer, so that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's true.
So post-1980s, let's say, I'll throw it out there first with A Christmas Story, the classic nostalgic tale based on the short story about Ralphie, the kid who just wants to get that gun, but everybody thinks he'll shoot his eye out. And as Hank reminded me before we started, also by the same director, Bob Clark, Black Christmas, the horror movie.
Another classic.
Slasher Christmas movie. So both
Thinking
directed
about
by the
that.
same
Yes,
guy. Mind
exactly. Yes, yeah, that's crazy. I was actually thinking about that movie. And I was thinking, what's that horror movie that is Christmas horror movie?
Yeah, that's one that you want to watch with grandma.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So-
One that you don't want to watch with grandma that I love is Bad Santa.
Yes.
I actually prefer Badder Santa, which is like the director's
Yeah.
cut that is even more unruly and crass. I was trying to think if there was any quotes that I could like use from that, and there's nothing. The language is so bad, but it's actually really heartwarming and it's hilarious. Like it has me laughing out loud every single time I watch it.
I find it hard to watch. I find it makes me kind of cringe a little bit. It takes away it just makes me it takes away that whole Christmas
Harshes
joy.
on your Christmas buzz.
It's super harshes on my Christmas.
It's charming.
I
It's
know.
like,
It's
you know, he has like an arc. There's some change. There's some like growth as a character, which usually is super annoying in any kind of movie, but in this one, it's great.
I don't know why you guys haven't mentioned it already, but Ernest Saves Christmas.
Somebody's got to save Christmas. Might as well be
Right?
Ernest,
Yeah,
right?
that hurts my
Forget
heart.
Santa, Ernest.
That makes me feel even weirder than the Black Christmas movie.
It makes me feel kind of dirty. Like,
It's dirty.
what is he like? What is he doing now? Like, Ernest was such a monopoly. Like, it was such a huge thing for a number of years, and then.
But he saved
died.
Christmas and
Yeah,
quit.
I was
He
gonna
doesn't
say,
have
not
to do
harsh the
anything.
Christmas
Yeah.
buzz, but Jim Varney
Yeah,
passed
thank you.
away. Yeah.
Jim, did he pass away?
He's dead. Yeah. He's saving Christmas in heaven.
I
now,
take back
guess.
all those things.
So do I. I
I'm
feel
sorry
really
I even
bad.
brought it up. I'm sorry.
That's
Okay.
horrible.
And now, do you have a modern one? I know you kind of already.
I
jumped the
did.
queue,
I
but-
said that, but Elf is a great movie. Like I cannot get enough of Elf. It's just so over the top, but it's so funny. It just makes me laugh every time I think about it. So yeah.
Santa, I know him.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
a really fun subgenre of Christmas movies is the weirder Christmas movie, and maybe like for you, you're wearing the T-shirt right now.
Yes.
This one fits right in there. But
Yes.
the holiday, the Star Wars holiday Christmas special. Talk about that for a sec.
Okay, well, you know, when I never saw it when it came out in like '77, so it was something that I was actually Jackie, the producer here, was actually she gave it to me on video and for the first time, and when I saw it, I was like overwhelmed with that. So it was like the best thing ever. It has Carrie Fisher singing, Han Solo and Chewbacca, Chewbacca's family. Yeah, it was amazing.
It's
I
a
loved
crazy
it.
movie. Well, and George Lucas, like, it aired once on TV. I did see it actually
Did you
when
see
it
it
was
on
on,
TV?
when I was
Yeah,
a little
so,
kid.
yeah, so-
But then he disavowed it and
Yeah.
tried to destroy like every
Yes,
tape and
yeah.
imagine. It was kind of one of those videotapes they pass around Hollywood until I think you can find it on YouTube now.
You
so
can, and
somebody
it's
put
on
it up
YouTube.
there.
It's actually in really good. Like you can really see it's good shape. I've seen videos that are all bad, but yeah, it's great.
It's terrible. I remember watching
It is terrible.
But it's like
super
horrible. Yes.
At the time, it was like, you know, I was a kid, and it was like, wow, this is so awesome.
It's a wonderful sleigh
Yes.
wreck.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome because you're like, how did this happen? Like, how did this happen? And was Carrie Fisher really high when she did it? That's all I'm gonna say.
I think she must have been.
Yeah.
I'd have to say this is Die Hard, man. It's
Die
like
Hard,
Die Hard
yes.
is one that obviously people don't think about as a Christmas movie, but if you remember the Christmas, like where John McClane goes to meet his wife,
Yes.
is their corporate Christmas party, and that's where sort of the
Yeah.
terrorists get in there and attack. So, and it carries those sort of Christmassy themes throughout the movie. So,
And the second one wasn't the second one also in an airport with the giant with the plane and there
Yep.
was planes exploding. That was also a Christmas
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I like Eastern Promises.
Oh, yeah.
There's like some really good fights and stuff in there, and we watched it at Christmas, or we were in the kitchen making supper, and it was playing in the basement, and all you could hear was this, like,
Nothing says Christmas like naked men fighting to the death in the sauna.
But it does take place at Christmas, and it is such a fantastic movie, and it's not typical Christmas, but I do love it, and I do watch it at Christmas.
Hank, favorite off the beaten path?
You stole my movie.
Really?
Eastern Promise, no. It is not a holiday movie in any sense, but every Christmas Day, Boxing Day, my dad and I would watch some kind of war movie or war movies. We watched Guns of Navarone so many times now that when I think of Guns of Navarone, I think Christmas. Yeah,
nice.
Classic.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is interesting how, we celebrate Christmas through these classic movies, and you watch the same ones year in and year out, and it isn't Christmas sometimes without some of those movies.
True. And we have some presents. Tony grabbed some presents.
There's presents?
I'll bring the credit.
Presents. Gee, I think we all got the same thing.
What do you think it is?
Golly.
It jingles.
It does jingle.
All the way?
Also, it's not prop presents. It's not screws in a box.
No, it's not. It's
Just what I've always wanted.
I know.
No way.
Awesome. I got Yoda.
And we all have, I have R2, which is great.
I got C-3PO.
It's beautiful.
Vader.
But I wanted to remind everybody out there that KD should never stand for Christmas dinner. And this is a time for giving. Sometimes it's really stressful and hard for some families to make Christmas a good thing for their kids. So, just shout out to everybody out there. If you can donate a food item or money or even your time, it makes such a huge difference to our community. And, we want to have warm, happy feelings for all the nerds in our community.
Yeah,
so
Christmas for everybody.
Yeah. We had a really cool interaction with the Blades. The Blades did a hockey game combining Star Wars, hockey, and a little magazine called Punch. And we were there to give out copies to people and just have a really good time. So we're going to show you a little bit of that. Take a look. I am here with Steve Hogle of the Blades. We are so excited. This is the coolest thing ever. Tell us about your fantastic attire.
Thank you very much. And this has been about a year in the making. About a year ago, I was looking ahead to the pop culture calendar and thinking, you know what, there's not going to be anything bigger than the Star Wars movie coming out in December. So on a whim, reached out to Lucasfilm in California, and they were amazing to deal with. They said, love the concept, and then it probably took longer to get the approval for the final artwork done than the initial approval. And so we went back and forth about 6 times after the initial approval and came up with this scene from Hoth, and this is the result, and it has created an absolute buzz well beyond Saskatoon, well beyond Saskatchewan, even well beyond Canada. It went down into the States. We had Sports Illustrated pick it up, we had ESPN pick it up, and we had inquiries from overseas saying, how the heck do I get my hands on one of those Saskatoon Blades Star Wars jerseys?
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's kind of perfect for us. It's sort of Saskatchewan landscape, so to speak, as well. Who actually did the artwork?
We work with a WHL, CHL approved jersey supplier by the name of Cat Stitch. And it was Ken down there at Cat Stitch that we went back and forth with. And then, of course, with Lucasfilms. And Lucasfilm obviously had the ultimate decision in terms of feel, concept, design. Ken did an out-of-this-world job working within those parameters, and then Lucasfilm at the end of the day said, that's amazing, outstanding.
It is. It's really beautiful, and I can understand why so many fans are freaking out and want one of these, because they're very, very limited. Now, you were only allowed to make a very exclusive number. How did that work with Lucasfilm?
Lucasfilm, understandably, is very protective of their brand and wants things done a certain way. So we are allowed to auction off 35 jerseys at our game November 28th, but all 35 will be sold that night in venue. And so that is the only way to get them. So unfortunately, people around the world, we have to tell them, you've got to make friends with people in Saskatoon really fast and get them out to the Blades game to bid on those jerseys.
That's so cool. Okay, Now, on the backs of the jerseys,
Yeah.
will it have the players' names or will it be like Vader, Yoda?
Well, they will be players' jerseys. My name is on the back of that one temporarily, but it will be players' names on the backs of the jerseys. The extra additional ones that we have only a handful of, they will be blank. Now, Lucasfilm, interesting question you asked, because Lucasfilm did ask for 5 jerseys with those kinds of names on them for their archives. So, and the big beneficiary of the proceeds from these jerseys will be the food banks of Saskatchewan. And so we've got a great end user and beneficiary, and that was all driven by Potash Corp. And Potash stepped to the front and said, we love this idea. The beneficiary has to be food banks of Saskatchewan because that fits so well with what Potash Corp does.
Well, and it's such a good cause for this time of year, especially because lots of families around the holiday season need that extra little bit of help. So the food bank is a wonderful choice for the charity.
Absolutely. They are now feeding 18,000 people a month, and they said almost half of those are children. So it's a great cause, and we're thrilled that we can help that cause and fill that need. And obviously we couldn't do it without the food bank support, but also Potash as well.
That's awesome. So it's really cool to hear that Saskatoon will have a little piece in the LucasArts archives with these jerseys. And of course, we love local art. And on that note, a little segue on Punch, the new edition, which is strictly Star Wars. It's glossy and beautiful and all local content. And of course, we had a ton of copies to give out at the game to folks who showed up in costume and as prizes, and you can still get a copy if they're still around at Amazing. But this is a beautiful, beautiful magazine, and we're very proud of it. So hopefully people can pick it up and have a look through all of our local talent.
Beautiful.
So obviously coming up with this brilliant genius brainstorm to have these jerseys, you must be a fan.
Well, it's interesting. I'm a fan, but I'm not an over-the-top fan. Our over-the-top fan within the family is our son, Zach. So he was pop culture advisor on this project. And so I leaned on Zach for a lot of help in the process. But obviously, I certainly appreciate and enjoy, and it's just wonderful to be able to leverage this out of this world franchise for such a down-to-earth cause in terms of helping the food bank.
It is amazing. So thank you, Zach, for helping out your dad. We love what you did. It's really important and great. That's so super. Welcome to a special holiday edition of The Collector. Today we have board game collector Jeff McDonald with us. Welcome to PunchTV, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
Right off the bat, what is the best game here for a family to play that it's easy to get started?
Flux. Flux is the fastest to get started. You can open the box and there's one rule card and you can be playing in as fast as it took to describe that.
Wow.
And there are multiple versions of it for any family.
So like as far as like the multiple versions, is it the same game or can you add to that game?
They're all the same game and they have different cards, pictures, modifiers, but they're basically the same rules.
Cool.
You draw a card, play a card.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that sounds easy. Yeah, is there any other like really easy games a guy like me jumps into? Because I don't really like games.
You could easily.
I don't collect games and I don't like games, so that's...
Attitude. Well, you're not invited to my game party. Jeff, what's a great game? What's another great game?
As someone who doesn't like games, you could easily get into Bang, because Bang is competitive.
Gotcha.
Bang is a Western game where you can have anywhere from 3 to 5 people at the table and have a good time. And the goal is to kill each other.
Cool.
So.
Awesome.
That sounds perfect for you.
That's perfect, yeah.
Okay, there's some pretty complicated games here. The tile game craze is kind of a big deal right now. Do you have any of those kinds here?
The big tile game craze, or as they called them, the Euro games for a while, Settlers of Catan. Carcassonne is similar to that, but much, much better. You never in this game feel as though you're losing. In random games, you can immediately feel like you're behind, but Carcassonne, everyone keeps moving at the same pace. It's draw a tile, play a tile.
Okay. Do you find that the tile games seem to be longer games? Are they shorter games? How?
Carcassonne says 30 to 45 minutes,
Well, that's pretty
but
short.
you could be
Okay.
15.
Yeah.
So you don't have
that's
to
a pretty
get into
short
one of
game.
these like Monopoly marathons where you hate the game and you just want it to be over and you don't care if you win or lose.
And yeah.
Civilization is that.
Awesome. Okay.
Civilization is a great gift for a more advanced player who's played the Axis and Allies and things like that, and is able to get into a 20 or 30 page rule book and is fine playing for 2 to 7 hours.
Is there games like, is this the kind of game you can like put down for a couple days and come back to, or is it you have to spend 7 hours playing it?
You might have to put it down for a couple days.
Okay.
If you,
Does it start fights? Because I used to play Risk, and there was always anger, fighting, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So is that kind of game?
Risk is almost 100% based on the random roll of the dice.
Yeah.
This isn't. You can hate each other, and then you have more cause to hate each other. Because you're stealing from each other and you're intentionally thwarting each other's plans.
That's
Okay.
my kind of game.
In the spirit of, goodwill, rather than competitive games, do you have any games that are maybe a little softer or cooperative?
Yeah, there are lots of cooperative games out now. Not always harder. A problem with a cooperative game can be that one person can dominate it if they are more experienced with it. Pandemic is cooperative, it's award-winning, and it's about saving humanity. So that's a pretty good goal, and you have expansion packs for it there if people like it enough to get further into it. And it's simple, everyone plays a role, and you just learn your role, so it's pretty easy for a new person to get into that.
So is there a winner in a cooperative game still? Like there's winners and losers, or is it just kind of play for fun together?
In Pandemic, it's you versus the 4 different diseases, plagues,
Gotcha.
and such that are trying to
So
wipe
you can die in that, you get wiped out by that and you're playing together.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And there's other games. I think there's what's the zombie game that's also like
There's
that too?
there's Zombicide, there's War Z, there's several zombie ones where you, rather than just the original Zombies game that was out, which was competitive, where you would try and kick each other off of the helicopter at the end. These ones you all try and work together to survive. And some are last man standing cooperative, and some are cooperative where if anyone dies, you all die.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, there's some really great suggestions here, and we could actually devote an entire show just to games. So I'm excited to try some of these. I hope that maybe they are under the tree for me.
I hope so too.
Thanks for all the great tips and strategies, Jeff.
Thanks.
We will be right back. There's nothing like curling up in front of a fireplace with a hot cup of cocoa and a good book. The two that I really wanted to talk about today are a new comic that just came out by Grant Morrison called Claus, or Klaus. I like to say, but it should be really Claus. And it is how Santa got his start. The artwork is glorious. It is so beautiful. Basically, the story opens with a dude, he's a trapper, he ends up going to a city that he visited before, and everything has changed since the last time that he was there. The new government is cruel and mean, and they don't let anybody play with anything, and they take all his stuff and kind of beat him up and kick him out of town. And so he goes out into the woods and he starts playing this song and ends up conjuring some kind of crazy spirits. And he wakes up in the morning with colors flying all over the place and with a whole bunch of toys. And so he now has to figure out what to do with all those toys. So this is going to be a really great series, I think. Grant Morrison always has crazy ideas and twists in his stories, and the artwork is gorgeous. So definitely a good comic to pick up. And a classic in my book, this is Lee Bermejo's Batman Noel. It is amazing. It's beautiful. It's not surprising that he doesn't put out much, because every single book that he does do, every panel is just chock full of gorgeous artwork, and he tells the story, the classic Dickens tale of where Batman is basically Scrooge, because Batman never takes a day off. Batman is always working 24/7 to keep everybody safe. And in this one, the Joker is the bad guy, and he has one of his henchmen who's in a bad way. He's got a kid, Tim, who's, sickly, and he's been set up. And so Batman kind of follows him, and he is visited by the spirits of Catwoman and Superman to kind of guide him along and show him the true meaning of Christmas and turn things around for himself. But just gorgeous stuff. I highly recommend this book to anybody, especially if you're a Batman fan. Lee Bermejo, Batman Noel. And if you can't find it in print anywhere, the library has a copy, and the library is always a super place to get books from. So be sure to put that on your Christmas list, and a great book to read with your friends and family or just by yourself. Wow, an hour flew by. We wish all of you watching the happiest of holidays. Thank you to all the kids who came on the show, to the Western Development Museum, and to Jeff McDonald for coming in and sharing some great games. Thanks to Tony, Hank, Craig, Mark, Kathy, Jackie, Josh, Dean, Justin, Randy, and Bob. And thanks to you for tuning in. Have the geekiest of holidays.
And then I realized, like I was shot with a diamond bullet right through my forehead. And I thought, my God, the genius of death.